A famous sports writer once said that if Pele had not been born a man, he would have been born a football. Pele, real name Edson Aranto de Nascimento, one of the greatest footballers the world have ever seen, died on Thursday at the age of 82. Born in the state of Minas Gerais in 1940, Pele's family moved to a nearby city called Bauru looking for a better life. He grew up in poverty and his parents could not even afford a ball. An old sock filled with newspaper was the first ball his magical feet kicked, but it was enough for him to fall in love with the game and for people to start noticing he was different. When Pele was 15, a local coach, Valdemir Di Brito, took him to play for the football club Santos. Upon arriving in the city that shares the name with the club, Brito told the coach, "This kid will be the best in the world." Within minutes, the coach was impressed with Pele and signed him on the spot. This was 1956. 2 years later, Pele would be in Sweden, spearheading Brazil to a World Cup title, the first of six for the team. He scored two goals in the final against Sweden. He was still 17. Pele was famously easygoing, kind, joyful, and a reliable friend. Pele had a certain way of speaking Portuguese, something he would turn into a trademark. He would constantly finish his sentence with entende, which means understand. In addition to skills and charisma, a certain mysticism always surrounded the character of the king of football. Pele was from a city called Tres Corações, which translates to three hearts. One of his famous quotes made at his last match ever played in 1977 in New York was honoring children, and with his limited English, he just said, "Love, love, love." On the pitch, Pele became an instant celebrity following the 1958 World Cup. Upon returning to Brazil, he helped Santos build a dynasty, winning 25 titles in the 1960s. Despite being world famous, Pele kept living a down to earth life in Santos. Aside from being the world's best footballer, Pele also ventured into show business. A lover of music, he recorded an album with Brazilian legendary singer Elis Regina and acted in a handful of movies, making him a pop star as well. In 1962, Brazil won a second successive World Cup, with an injured Pele supporting the team. It was in 1970, at the first World Cup broadcasted in color, that Pele put the cherry on top of his football legacy. The team that had Coldaldo, Ravellino, and Tostao put in one of the most celebrated World Cup performances in history. In the final, a 4-1 win over Italy, Pele scored a header, the team's opening goal that some people said he managed by freezing mid-air. He celebrated the goal in his typical manner, jumping and punching in the air. That was Pele's 12th and final World Cup goal. In 1969, he had become the first player to score 1,000 goals. A thousandth goal was at the Maracana in Rio de Janeiro, known as Mecca of football. In 1974, he left Santos and played his final years in New York at a club called Cosmos. It was the only team he played for other than Santos and Brazil's national side. Pele wore the number 10 jersey, but he did not know which number he would have and was assigned 10th randomly. The number 10 jersey has been then become associated with the world's best. Maradona, Roberto Baggio, Zinedine Zidane, and Lionel Messi are just some of them who have worn it. Pele retired after playing 1363 games, winning 37 titles, scoring 1281 goals, including 92 career hat tricks. He spent his post football life involved in social activism, including being a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador. In recent years, Pele struggled with his health aside from battling cancer. He also suffered from severe hip pain and spent most of his last years in a wheelchair. Finally, a great era of football came to an end.